You're mine tonight? The prince whispered to his castle cook, then made her his princess. A storm pounds the castle walls. A lowly cook carries a tray to the prince's chamber. But instead of silence, she finds him broken, whispering words no servant should ever hear. That one night changes everything. The court is ruthless. Rumors swirl like wildfire. A duchess sharpens her claws, ready to destroy the woman who dares capture a crown prince's heart. And when the king himself demands obedience, the cook faces prison for nothing more than love. But secrets simmer in the dark poison in the goblet. A sick princess only the cook can save, and a vow the prince will not break, even if it costs him his throne. Will their forbidden love shatter under scandal and chains? Or will the cook who once fed the kitchens rise to feed a kingdom as its princess? Comment below and tell me where in the world you're joining from. And if this story made you pause for a moment, hit that subscribe button for more thunder crashed against the ancient stones of Chateau de Belleterre as autumn winds howled through its corridors. In the warmth of the castle kitchens, Elena Moreau wiped her brow with her flour-dusted apron, checking the last loaves cooling on the wooden rack. The evening meal service was done, save for the guards who needed their supper, and she looked forward to retiring to her small chamber. Moreau. The steward's sharp voice cut through the kitchen's peaceful quiet. His Highness hasn't touched his dinner. The king demands he eat something. Prepare a fresh tray at once. Elena's heart sank. It was well past the usual dining hour, and the storm showed no signs of easing. Yes, sir, she answered quietly, already reaching for a clean silver tray. She knew better than to question orders, no matter how late the hour. With practiced hands, she assembled a simple but elegant meal. Tender slices of roasted pheasant, warm bread, and preserved fruits. She added a pot of chamomile tea, hoping its soothing properties might ease whatever troubled the prince enough to make him miss the evening meal. The steward watched her work with impatient eyes. Take it up yourself, Moreau. The other servants have retired, and His Highness specifically requested you. Elena's fingers trembled slightly as she lifted the heavy tray. She had never served the prince directly before. Such tasks were usually reserved for the higher-ranking house servants. The narrow servant's stairs twisted upward through the castle's thick walls, forcing her to move carefully in the dim light of wall-mounted candles finally reaching the prince's private chambers. Elena balanced the tray carefully as she knocked. Your Highness? I've brought your supper. Enter. The voice from within sounded nothing like the commanding young royal she glimpsed at. Formal occasions, thought Elena, pushed open the heavy door and stepped into a large chamber, lit only by a roaring fire. Prince Adrien stood before it, his usual formal attire abandoned. His wig lay discarded on a nearby chair, his natural dark hair falling loose around his face. His embroidered coat had been flung aside, leaving him in just his shirt and breeches. Set. It there, he gestured vaguely toward a small table. Not turning from the flames, Elena placed the tray down softly, trying not to disturb whatever thoughts consumed him. But as she straightened to leave, his voice stopped her. Wait. He turned then, and Elena's breath caught at the raw anguish in his expression. You're Moreau, aren't you? The widow who makes those herb pastries my father's physician praised. Yes. Your Highness? She answered carefully, keeping her eyes lowered as propriety demanded. At least someone in this castle has useful skills, he said bitterly, rather than just plotting and scheming and arranging other people's lives without their consent. Thunder crashed outside, making the windows rattle. In its flash, Elena saw tears glinting in the prince's eyes. Your Highness seems troubled. She ventured gently, knowing she was overstepping, but unable to ignore such obvious distress. Adrien laughed harshly. Troubled? Yes, I suppose that's one word for it. My father has decreed I must marry the Duchesse de Virac within 2 weeks' time. A political alliance, you understand? To strengthen the northern borders. His voice cracked. I am to be sold like cattle at market, and for what? A few more acres of land and a cold-hearted woman who sees me only as a path to power? Elena stood frozen, knowing she should leave but rooted to the spot by the raw pain in his voice. This was not the proud prince she glimpsed at ceremonies, but A young man drowning in grief and obligation. A Drin crossed the room in quick strides and caught her hand in his. His skin was fever warm against her work-roughened fingers. You're mine tonight, he whispered, vulnerability aching in every word. The only soul in this castle who sees me. Elena's heart thundered in her chest, louder than the storm outside. This was dangerous, far more dangerous than the lightning that split the sky. But she couldn't pull away from the desperate grip of his fingers, the pleading in his eyes. After what felt like an eternity, she managed to step back, her hand slipping from his grasp. Without a word, she fled the chamber, her legs trembling as she descended the servants' stairs. The memory of his touch burned against her skin, and the echo of his words rang in her ears. The only soul who sees me. She reached the kitchen and leaned against the cool stone wall, trying to steady her racing heart. What had just happened would change everything. She knew it as surely as she knew the sun would rise tomorrow. But whether that change would bring joy or ruin, she could not say. Morning crept into the castle like a timid gray cat, bringing with it a heavy dampness that clung to the stone walls. Elena had barely slept, Prince Adrian's whispered words echoing in her mind like fragments of a dream. Her fingers trembled slightly as she tied her apron strings and pulled her. Dark hair back beneath a clean white cap. The kitchen already hummed with activity when she arrived. Pots clattered, morning bread dough thumped against wooden boards, and the fire crackled hungrily in the great hearth. Elena moved to her usual place, but her thoughts kept drifting upward to chambers she had no business thinking about. The porridge is burning, Moreau, called one of the scullery maids. Elena startled, quickly stirring the pot she had neglected. The thick oats had indeed started to stick to the bottom. From their corner by the vegetable baskets, Lisette and Margot watched with sharp eyes. Their whispers carried just loud enough for Elena to catch fragments. Did you hear? She was in his chambers past midnight. All alone with him, and him in such a state. Elena's cheeks burned, but she kept her eyes on her work. Let them gossip. She knew the truth of her brief encounter with the prince, though even that truth was dangerous enough. The morning crawl of servants and nobility, seeking breakfast, had barely ended when an unexpected figure appeared in the kitchen doorway. The bustling activity stuttered to a halt as Prince Adrien himself stepped into their domain, dressed not in his usual court finery, but in a simple brown coat and riding boots. Mistress Moreau, he called out, his voice warm and familiar. Too familiar. I find myself craving a bowl of that excellent stew you prepared last week. The one with the root vegetables and herbs. The silence in the kitchen grew thick. As cream, Elena could feel every eye upon her, could sense Lisette and Margot's barely contained excitement at this scandalous development. Even the lowest scullery maid had stopped scrubbing to stare. Your Highness? Elena managed, dropping into a proper curtsy. Such a dish is hardly worthy of your attention. Surely the royal chef cannot make it half as well as you, Adrien interrupted, smiling. I've had enough fancy sauces to last a lifetime. Your cooking reminds me of simpler pleasures. Someone likely, Margot made a choking sound. Elena's heart hammered against her ribs. This was madness. She had to stop it now before the rumors grew wings. Your Highness, might I have a word? Elena asked quietly, gesturing toward the small herb pantry. It was forward of her, but less forward than allowing the scene to continue in front of the entire kitchen staff. Adrien followed her without hesitation, in the relative privacy. The pantry, surrounded by bundles of dried herbs and the sharp scent of rosemary, Elena turned to face him. My lord, you cannot do this, she whispered urgently. Coming to the kitchens, speaking to me so ... freely. The servants talk. They already whispered about last night. Let them whisper, Adrien said, his expression softening. I will not pretend that your kindness meant nothing to me, that your food does not bring me more comfort than all the delicacies of France. You don't understand? Elena pressed. Such attention from you could ruin us both. I could lose my position. And you have responsibilities. Expectations, which weigh heavily enough without having to hide my simple gratitude, he interrupted gently. I am not ashamed to appreciate honest work and genuine kindness. Elena, I will not pretend otherwise, even if it scandalizes the entire castle. The way he said her name without title or formality sent a shiver down her spine. Please, she tried one last time. If you truly feel grateful, show it by keeping your distance. But Adrien only smiled that worn, dangerous smile it is. I cannot promise that, he said softly. Good day, Mistress Moreau. I look forward to whatever meal next comes from your kitchen. He left her there, surrounded by herbs and spices, her heart beating like a trapped bird against her ribs. Through the pantry door, she could hear the excited murmurs of the kitchen staff already spreading word of the prince's unprecedented visit. Evening shadows lengthened across the kitchen floor as Elena worked steadily at her wooden table, rolling out pastry for the night's meat pies. The savory scent of stewed mutton and herbs filled the warm air. Her skilled hands moved with practiced ease, even as her mind remained troubled by the morning's events in the kitchen. Through the steam rising from bubbling pots, she caught sight of Margot's thin figure leading a visiting steward from a neighboring estate through the kitchen. They paused near the herb drying rack, just close enough for Elena to catch fragments of their whispered conversation. ... keeps strange herbs she does. Margot's voice dripped with false concern. And ever since she started brewing those peculiar teas, the prince has been acting most strange, visiting the kitchens daily ... Elena's hands stilled on the pastry. Witchcraft, you say? The visiting steward's voice held eager interest. These are serious claims, girl. She was seen gathering herbs by moonlight, Margot continued, her voice trembling with manufactured fear. And now his highness seems quite ... enchanted. The rolling pin slipped from Elena's suddenly numb fingers, clattering against the table. Several kitchen maids turned to stare, their eyes now holding something new, fear mixed with cruel curiosity. Elena forced herself to keep working, though her heart hammered against her ribs. Word spread through the castle like wildfire. By sunset, servants scurried away when Elena passed, making quick signs against evil. Even the scullery boys who usually begged for scraps of pastry now avoided her gaze. That evening, a page delivered the dreaded summons. Elena was to present herself to the castle steward immediately. Her legs felt wooden as she climbed the narrow stairs to his office, where candlelight flickered against dark paneled walls. The steward sat behind his massive desk, his face grave. Mistress Moreau, serious allegations have been brought to my attention. He shuffled through papers, not meeting her eyes. Reports of suspicious activities, strange brews, possible enchantments. Sir, I only use common cooking herbs and simple remedies, as my mother taught me. Elena's voice remained steady, despite her fear. The same medicines that helped nurse Princess Isabel. Yet, now the prince himself appears ... affected. The steward's tone grew harder. Your position here requires absolute trust, Mistress Moreau. If that trust is compromised, the door burst open with a bang that made them both jump. Prince Adrien strode in, his riding boots mud-splattered, his face thunderous. What is the meaning of this? Your Highness? The steward rose hastily, bowing. We are merely investigating certain concerns. Baseless slander, you mean? Adrien cut him off. Have you all forgotten so quickly? When my sister lay burning with fever last winter, when the court physicians had given up hope, who was it that nursed her day and night? Who prepared the broths and teas that brought her back to health? Elena stood perfectly still, hardly daring to breathe. The prince's presence filled the room like a storm about to break. Mistress Moreau used nothing but simple herbs and honest skill, Adrien continued, his voice ringing with authority. I witnessed it myself. Would you call healing witchcraft? Would you punish knowledge passed down from mother to daughter? The steward's face had gone pale. Your Highness, we merely thought. Think better, Adrien commanded. I will hear no more of these ridiculous accusations. Mistress Moreau has my complete trust and protection. Is that understood? Yes, Your Highness, the steward murmured. Bowing deeply, Elena fled as soon as she was dismissed, her legs shaking so badly she could barely walk. She found herself in the castle gardens, where the evening air helped calm her racing heart. The sweet scent of late roses mixed with the sharp tang of herbs from the kitchen beds she tended. Footsteps crunched on the gravel path behind her. She knew without turning that it was Adrien. They cannot hurt you now, he said softly. My lord, you shouldn't be here, Elena whispered, but didn't move away. The rumors, let them talk. Adrien stepped closer, his voice fierce and tender at once. Witchcraft or no, I would choose you over 100 duchesses. You bring light to these dark halls, Elena, your honest heart, your gentle hands. He reached for her fingers, clasping them tightly. These are the only magic I need. The Sunday morning sun cast golden light through the chapel's stained glass windows, painting rainbow patterns across the worn stone floor of the cloisters. Elena hurried through the shadowed arcade, her arms full of fresh herbs for the altar. Arrangements? The quiet solitude of early morning prayer time had always brought her peace. But today her heart fluttered like a trapped bird. A gentle touch on her arm made her gasp. Prince Adrien stepped from behind a column, his usual finery replaced by simple dark clothes that helped him blend into the shadows. His face bore the strain of sleepless nights. Forgive me for startling you, he whispered, helping steady the bundle of herbs before they could fall. I had to see you alone. Elena glanced nervously toward the chapel doors. Your Highness, we cannot. Please, he interrupted, his voice rough with emotion. I cannot bear another lecture about duty and position. The Duchesse arrives tonight, and my father expects. He ran a hand through his unpowdered hair. She's all ice and calculation. Her eyes never warm when she smiles. Elena's heart ached at his obvious distress. Perhaps she will prove kinder. Then she seems? No? Adrien shook his head firmly. She speaks of nothing but alliances and advantages. There is no softness in her, no joy. His fingers brushed Elena's cheek. Not like you. The touch sent warmth spreading through her entire body. My lord, when you tend the sick or comfort a homesick scullery maid, when you sing while kneading bread or scold me for sneaking into your kitchen, ... His voice grew tender. That is the kind of Queen Bellatrix needs. A heart that truly cares for people. The chapel bells began to toll, their deep bronze voices calling the household to mass. Elena stepped back reluctantly. We must go. They'll wonder where you are. Let them wonder. But Adrien sighed and straightened his coat. Save me a meat pie from supper? The boyish hope in his voice made her smile despite herself. As you wish, Your Highness. She dropped a quick curtsy and hurried away, her cheeks flushed. That evening, the great hall blazed with hundreds of candles as nobility gathered to welcome the Duchesse. Elena moved quietly among the tables, replacing empty platters and filling wine cups. She tried not to look too often at the high table where Adrien sat beside his intended bride. A striking woman in deep blue silk. The first course had barely been cleared when Adrien raised his golden goblet for a toast. Elena, reaching to refill a lord's cup, noticed his hand trembling slightly. As he lifted the wine to his lips, a bitter almond scent reached her nose. No, the cry burst from her. Before she could stop herself, Your Highness, do not drink. The entire hall fell silent. Adrien lowered the cup, his face pale. What? Elena rushed forward, protocol forgotten. That smell bitter almonds. Please call the physician immediately. The Duchess's dark eyes narrowed, but Adrien's father acted swiftly, summoning his personal doctor. Kess confirmed Elena's fears. The wine contained poison. Chaos erupted as guards searched the hall. A recently dismissed footman was discovered trying to flee the castle. But as Elena watched the Duchess's unchanged expression, a chill ran down her spine. The footman might have poured the wine, but whose hand had guided his? Hours later, when the hall had emptied and the crisis passed, Elena found herself summoned to Adrien's chambers. He reclined on a chaise, still pale but alert, attended by his physician. "Leave us," he commanded softly. When they were alone, he reached for Elena's. "And you saved my life tonight. Anyone would have, no." His grip tightened. "Only you noticed. Only you cared enough to cry out regardless of consequence." He drew her closer, his blue eyes intense. "I will not forget this, Elena, and I will not let them separate us." "But how can you possibly? I am Crown Prince of Belleterre," he declared, with quiet determination. "I will find a way to make you my bride. On my life, the life you saved, I swear it." Elena trembled at the solemnity of his vow, torn between joy and fear. His hand was warm around hers, and in that moment, she allowed herself to believe that love might indeed conquer all. The weak autumn sunlight filtered through the castle windows as Elena kneaded bread at her wooden work table. Her hands moved with practiced grace, but her mind wandered to the prince recovering in his chambers above. A week had passed since that terrible night when poison had nearly claimed him. The memory still made her shudder. Another batch for his. "Highness?" asked Marie, the elderly kitchen maid, nodding at the small loaves Elena was shaping. "Yes, the physician says plain bread will help settle his stomach," Elena replied, keeping her voice steady. What Marie didn't know was that these particular loaves held more than just nourishment. The first note had arrived 3 days ago, tucked inside a returned bread basket. Elena's hands had trembled as she unfolded the carefully sealed paper. "Your presence brings more comfort than any medicine." Each day since another message appeared, each one more tender than the last. Today's delivery brought a fresh note, hidden in the folds of a napkin. "Meet me in the rose garden at midnight, please." Elena pressed the paper to her heart before tucking it safely in her apron pocket. That evening, wrapped in her darkest cloak, Elena slipped through the kitchen door into the palace gardens. The moon cast silver light across the gravel paths as she made her way to their meeting place. Her heart nearly stopped when a shadow detached itself from the hedge. "You came?" Adrien whispered, drawing her into the shelter of a stone arbor. Even in the darkness, she could see the pallor of illness still haunting his features. "Your Highness should be resting," she chided gently, but couldn't help reaching out to touch his arm. "Adrien," he corrected. "When we're alone, please." "Just Adrien." His fingers found hers in the darkness. "I've thought of nothing but you these past days. Your courage in saving my life, your gentle strength." "We shouldn't," Elena protested weakly, even as her heart soared at his words. "The Duchess, I will not marry her," Adrien declared with quiet conviction. "I cannot, not when I've found what true love feels like." The next afternoon found Elena bringing tea to Princess Isabelle Solar, where the young royal spent her afternoons at embroidery. As Elena arranged the delicate cups, Adrien appeared in the doorway, ostensibly to visit his sister. "How fortunate," he said, loud enough for the chaperone to hear. "I was hoping to thank Mistress Moreau properly for her quick thinking at the banquet." His eyes held Elena's for a meaningful moment, while Isabelle chatted happily about her needlework. Adrien and Elena exchanged glances heavy with unspoken feelings. When Elena finally curtsied and turned to leave, his soft "until later" made her pulse quicken. Their midnight meetings continued, each one more precious than the last. In the palace gardens, safely hidden from prying eyes, Adrien shared his dreams of a different kind of rule, one guided by heart as well as duty. "My father's generation sees marriage as nothing but politics," he confided one night, his breath visible in the cool air. "But I've watched too many loveless unions destroy both crown and country." Elena wrapped her cloak tighter, trying to shield herself from more than just the autumn chill. "Your Highness speaks of impossible things." "I'm just a cook, a widow of common birth." "You are everything," Adrien insisted, taking her hands in his. "Your wisdom, your kindness, your strength of spirit, these matter more than any title." Still, Elena resisted, though each meeting wore away at her defenses. "The scandal would destroy us both," she whispered against his shoulder one evening, allowing herself a moment of weakness in his embrace. "Let me worry about that," he murmured into her hair. Trust in my love, Elena. Trust in us. Finally, on a crisp night beneath the wisteria-covered arbor, Adrien pulled Elena close. The moonlight silvered his features as he made his vow. I will speak to my father. I will ask for your hand properly, as you deserve. Elena's heart threatened to burst. Your father will never agree. Then I will make him understand. I am his heir. I must have the freedom to choose my queen. His fingers traced her cheek with infinite tenderness. And I choose you. The moment shattered at the distant toll of the dawn bells. Elena reluctantly pulled away, knowing the kitchens would soon burst into morning activity. They parted with lingering looks and whispered promises. While the stars began to fade from the lightening sky, the late afternoon sun cast rainbow patterns through the stained glass windows of the castle's small chapel. Elena adjusted the white lily and purple irises in her basket, her heart fluttering as she approached the ancient stone building. The steward had instructed her to refresh the altar flowers before evening prayers, but she knew the real reason. For this errand, the heavy wooden door creaked as Elena slipped inside. Dozens of beeswax candles flickered in their holders, filling the chapel with golden light and the sweet scent of honey. Her footsteps echoed on the flagstone floor as she made her way toward the altar. You came? Prince Adrien emerged from the shadows near the confessional, dressed simply in a dark blue coat. His face glowed with warmth as he approached her. Your Highness, Elena curtsied, though her formal gesture was betrayed by the tender smile she couldn't hide. I brought fresh flowers for the altar. Elena. He took the basket from her hands and set it aside. Here, in this sacred place, I am simply Adrien, a man standing before God and the woman he loves. Her breath caught as he led her to the altar steps. The candlelight danced across his features, highlighting the determination in his eyes. To her amazement, he lowered himself to one knee before her. What are you doing? She whispered, glancing nervously at the chapel door. Making a sacred vow. His voice rang with quiet conviction. Before God as my witness, I swear that no matter what my father decrees, you are and shall always be my true intended. If he denies us, I will still hold you as my only love until my dying day. Tears sprang to Elena's eyes. All her careful resistance, her sensible warnings about class and duty, melted away in the face of such pure devotion. Adrien, Tell me what's in your heart, Elena. No more hiding. She drew a shaky breath. I love you, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. Heaven help me. I have tried not to, but I love you with all my heart. Joy blazed across his face as he rose to his feet. His hands found hers, warm and strong, as he drew her closer. Say it again. I love you, she repeated, stronger now, letting the truth ring out in the sacred space. A small gasp from the chapel entrance made them both turn. Elena's heart stopped, but instead of an angry guard or scandalized servant, Princess Isabel stood in the doorway. The young princess's pale face was lit with delight. I knew it, Isabel said softly, gliding forward. I've seen how you look at each other. How could I not notice when Elena brings you comfort no one else can provide, dear brother? Isabel. Adrien started, but his sister raised a hand. Your secret is safe with me. She took both their hands in hers. Love like yours is rare and precious. I would never betray it. Elena felt tears of gratitude spring to her eyes. Your Highness, you are too kind. No, I am simply honest. Isabel smiled. And I pray you'll be my sister one day, Elena. The three shared a moment of perfect understanding before Isabel slipped away, leaving them alone in the sacred space. Adrien pulled Elena close, pressing his forehead to hers. Do you see? He whispered. Even the angels smile upon us. Love will prevail? I'm beginning to believe it might, Elena admitted, allowing herself to sink into the warmth of hope. Their parting, when it came, was sweetened by the promises they'd made. Elena gathered her flower basket, while Adrien pressed a kiss to her hand before they separated. He, too, exit through the main door. She through the servants' entrance. But as Elena emerged into the courtyard, the clatter of wheels on cobblestones, caught her attention. A grand carriage was pulling through the castle gates, its black lacquer gleaming in the late afternoon sun. Liveried servants in dark green and gold, the colors of the House of Varic, scrambled to attend to the vehicle. "Make way for her grace, the Duchesse de Varic," called out the lead footman. "Her grace has arrived early for her stay at court." Elena clutched her basket tighter, watching as the ornate carriage door opened. The autumn wind caught her skirts, and with it came a chill that had nothing to do with the weather. Elena's hands moved swiftly through the mountain of vegetables before her, peeling and chopping with practiced ease. The kitchen hummed with urgent activity as servants rushed to prepare the grand feast. Copper pots bubbled with rich sauces, and the air was thick with the aroma of roasting meats and fresh-baked bread. "Have you heard?" whispered Marie, a young kitchen maid, as she scrubbed potatoes nearby. The Duchess brought 3 carriages full of gifts for the king. Silver from Paris, silks from Venice, ... Elena kept her eyes on her work, trying to ignore the nervous chatter around her. Her thoughts drifted to Adrien and their moment in the chapel, but she pushed the memory aside. Tonight's feast demanded her full attention. As midnight approached, Elena supervised the final preparations. Platters of glazed peacock, decorated with their own brilliant feathers, stood ready beside mountains of sugared fruits and delicate pastries. Her special herb-roasted pheasant prince, Adrien's favorite, waited to be served. The great hall blazed with hundreds of candles when Elena entered with the first course. Nobles in their finest silks and jewels filled the long tables, their laughter echoing off the stone walls. At the high table, the Duchesse de Varic sat beside King Louis, her dark eyes glittering like polished jet, her gown of midnight blue silk rustling with every graceful movement. Elena moved carefully between the tables, serving soup with steady hands. As she approached the high table, the Duchess's voice cut through the general murmur. "My dear King Louis," she said, her voice carrying clearly, "I notice your servants' hands are quite ... rough." She gestured toward Elena's work-worn fingers. "In my household, we ensure our staff maintain softer hands, more ... suitable for handling fine things." Heat crept up Elena's neck as scattered titters arose from the assembled nobles. She continued serving, keeping her eyes lowered. "Though perhaps," the Duchess continued, her tone sharp as a blade, "some servants prefer to handle things far above their station." She rose slowly, commanding attention. "Your Majesty, I feel compelled to inform you of a grave matter. Your son, the Crown Prince, has been observed in compromising situations with this cook." The great hall fell silent. Eleanor's hands trembled. As she set down the soup tureen, "What nonsense is this?" King Louis demanded, his face darkening. "Several witnesses have seen them together," the Duchess declared. "In the gardens, the chapel. This common woman has clearly seduced your heir, using her position to trap a prince. Father, this is madness." Adrien shot to his feet, his chair scraping against the floor. "Elena is..." Silence. The king's fist crashed against the table. "Guards, seize this woman. No servant shall corrupt the royal bloodline with her schemes." 2 guards grabbed Elena's arms roughly. She didn't struggle, though her heart pounded wildly in her chest. Adrien lunged forward, but the king's thunderous voice stopped him. "You will remain here, my son. This woman has clearly addled your wits with her feminine tricks. Perhaps some time in the tower will teach her the proper place of her class." "Your Majesty, please." Elena spoke softly, finding her voice at last. "I have done nothing. Take her away." The king roared. Elena caught one last glimpse of Adrien's anguished face as the guards dragged her from the hall. They marched her through dark corridors and up winding stairs, finally throwing her into a cold stone cell high in the castle tower. The heavy door clanged shut, leaving her alone in the darkness. Elena sank to her knees on the thin straw covering the floor. The rough stone walls pressed close around her, but she refused to give in to fear. Instead, she clasped her hands together and began to pray. Give him strength, she whispered into the darkness. Give him courage to follow his heart. Through the narrow window, she could see storm clouds gathering over the castle, black and threatening as they had been the night Adrien first confided in her. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and Elena shivered, pulling her thin dress closer around her shoulders as she continued. Her quiet prayers in the gathering gloom got the stone walls of the tower cell seemed to close in tighter with each passing day. Elena marked time by the thin shafts of sunlight that crept through the narrow window, watching them stretch across the damp floor like pale fingers. A full week had passed since the Duchess's cruel revelation at the banquet. The guards brought her daily ration of coarse bread and water, speaking in low voices they thought she couldn't hear. Their whispered conversations painted a picture of life beyond her prison walls. Prince Adrien had taken to his chambers, refusing meals and emerging only to pace the gardens like a caged lion. The Duchess, they said, grew bolder by the day, pressing King Louis for a swift marriage before autumn turned to winter. The prince looks half mad with grief, one guard muttered to another as they changed shifts. Never seen him like this, not even when the old queen passed. Elena's fingers traced the rough stone as she listened, her heart aching. She pictured Adrien's proud shoulders bent with sorrow, his gentle eyes clouded with pain. The image brought tears to her eyes, but she brushed them away. Self-pity would not serve either of them now. Instead, she turned to prayer, as she had done each morning and night since her imprisonment. The familiar words brought comfort, reminding her of Pierre, her late husband. His unwavering faith had sustained him even through the fever that took his life. Now, in her darkest hours, Elena drew strength from his memory. Lord, she whispered in the gathering dusk, grant Adrien the courage to follow his heart, whatever path that may lead him down, and give me the strength to accept your will, even if it parts us forever. In another part of the castle, Adrien paced his sister's solar, his boots wearing a path in the expensive carpet. Princess Isabel sat quietly in her favorite chair by the window, her embroidery forgotten in her lap as she watched her brother's agitation. You must help me, Belle, Adrien pleaded, using his childhood name for her. Father might listen to you? Tell him how Elena nursed you last winter, how she stayed by your bedside night after day without thought of reward. Isabel's gentle face creased with concern. Dear brother, you know I would do anything to ease your suffering. But father is so angry about this scandal. Scandal. Adrien spat the word like poison. What scandal is there, love? Elena has more nobility in her little finger than that scheming Duchess has in her entire being. I know, Isabel soothed, rising to take her brother's trembling hands. I saw your pledge in the chapel. The love between you shone brighter than any. Her words cut off as she swayed suddenly, color draining from her face. Belle? Adrien caught her as she stumbled. What's wrong? Just a bit dizzy, she murmured, but her skin burned against his palm. Within minutes, she lay shivering in her bed as the castle physician was summoned. Word of the princess's sudden illness reached Elena's tower cell that evening, carried on the worried voices of servants hurrying past. Her heart clenched at the news. Sweet Isabel, who had always shown her kindness, who had smiled upon their love in the chapel. Elena pressed herself against the heavy wooden door of her cell. Please, she called to the guards, I can help the princess. I know the herb broth that eased her fever last winter. Quiet in there, one guard barked, but Elena persisted. My mother taught me healing before she died. The princess trusted my remedies before. Please, just let me try. I asked nothing in return. Her voice broke with desperate sincerity. The guards shifted uncomfortably, exchanging glances. They had all seen how the princess favored Elena, how she had flourished under the cook's care during her previous illness. I give you my word, Elena added softly. I seek only to help Isabel. Whatever happens after, I accept my fate. But please don't let the princess suffer when I might ease her pain. The senior guard's weathered face showed the first crack of uncertainty. He had a daughter Isabel's age at home. Through the small window in the door, Elena could see the conflict in his eyes as he weighed duty against mercy. The princess grows worse by the hour, the younger guard murmured. And the physician's bleeding doesn't seem to help. ... Prince Adrien burst into the throne room, his boots echoing against the marble floor. The afternoon sun cast long shadows through the tall windows, highlighting the strain on his face as he approached his father. Release Alina, father. I beg you, Adrien pleaded, his voice carrying across the empty hall. She has done nothing wrong except win my heart. King Louis sat rigid upon his throne, his fingers gripping the ornate armrests. You speak of hearts when you should think of crowns. Your duty is to this kingdom, not to some kitchen maid's charms. She is more than that, and you know it. Adrien's words trembled with emotion. The people love her. The servants respect her, even Isabel. Enough. The king's voice thundered. The crown's authority must be maintained. Love is a luxury we cannot afford. The Duchess brings allies, armies, gold. What does your cook bring but scandal? Before Adrien could answer, a breathless page burst into the hall. Your Majesty? The Princess Isabel, her fever rises dangerously. Without hesitation, Adrien turned on his heel. His father's shouts followed him down the corridor, but he paid them no heed. He raced through the castle's winding passages to the tower, where two startled guards snapped to attention. Open this door, he commanded. When they hesitated, he added, My sister's life hangs in the balance. I'll answer to the king myself. The cell door creaked open. Alina stood straight despite her week of imprisonment, dignity undiminished. Take me to her, she said simply. Together they hurried to Isabel's chambers, where the princess lay pale and gasping among her silk pillows. The physician wrung his hands helplessly as courtiers and servants crowded the doorway, whispering. Anxiously, Alina moved with quiet purpose to the princess's side. I need fresh water, clean cloths, and access to the herb garden, she instructed, her voice calm and sure. The servants scattered to obey under the warm glow of candlelight. Alina worked steadily. She crushed herbs with practiced hands, brewing them into a fragrant broth while murmuring soothing words to the fevered princess. The gathered nobles watched in tense silence as she gently helped Isabel sip the steaming liquid. Hours crept by. Gradually, Isabel's labored breathing eased. Pink tinged her wan cheeks. When she finally fell into peaceful sleep, a collective sigh of relief swept through the room. King Louis stood in the doorway, his face unreadable as he observed Alina's tender care of his daughter. The rigid certainty in his eyes began to waver. He watched as this supposed witch, this peasant who had dared aspire above her station, smoothed his daughter's hair with a mother's gentleness. Near the window, the Duchess de Verix perfectly. Painted lips pressed into a thin line. She saw the softening in the king's stance, noted how the courtiers nodded approvingly at Alina's skill and compassion. Her carefully woven web of influence began to unravel thread by thread. Perhaps, the king murmured, almost to himself, true nobility wears more faces than I knew. The Duchess' fan snapped shut with a sharp crack, but few noticed. All eyes remained fixed on the humble cook who had once again proven that virtue knew no rank. The great throne hall of Chateau de Belleterre buzzed with anticipation. Sunlight streamed through tall windows, glinting off polished marble and gilded frames. Nobles in their finest silks and velvets lined the walls, while servants peered from doorways. At the front, King Louis sat upon his throne, his face a mask of royal dignity. Let it be known, the king's voice rang clear through the hall, that the worth of a future queen shall be measured not by the accident of birth, but by the nobility of her heart and the strength of her character. A collective GSP rippled through the assembly. Prince Adrien stepped forward, his shoulders straight and proud. Before the entire court, he turned away from the Duchesse de Verac, who stood rigid with fury. My heart and loyalty belong to one alone, Adrien declared. He strode to where Alina stood in her simple dress, dropped to one knee, and took her work-worn hand in his. Alina Moreau, will you consent to be my bride? The Duchess's face twisted with rage. This is an outrage. She is nothing but a common. She is everything. Princess Isabel's clear voice cut through the growing murmurs. She glided forward, radiant with restored health. Elena saved my life not once, but twice. When others sought power, she gave only kindness. There is no one more worthy to stand beside my brother. The king rose slowly from his throne. He studied Elena's face, seeing not a servant, but a woman who had risked everything to heal his daughter. Love has shown wisdom where tradition failed, he pronounced. Elena Moreau, you have proven your worth through deeds of mercy and courage. I grant my blessing to this union. Guards stepped forward at the king's subtle gesture, escorting the protesting duchess from the hall. Her final schemes had crumbled to dust. A few days later, bells pealed joyously across the chateau, in the chapel adorned with spring flowers. Elena stood before the altar in white silk, her eyes bright with happy tears, as she pledged her love to Adrien. The ceremony flowed into a magnificent feast, where nobles and servants alike celebrated the triumph of true love over pride. As music filled the great hall, Adrien drew his new bride close. His whisper was tender against her ear. You're mine. Tonight, and forevermore. Elena's smile glowed with quiet joy. She was no longer the widow who cooked in the castle kitchens, but a princess crowned by love's own decree. If today's story reminded you of the quiet strength of love, I'd love to see you again. Subscribe, and tomorrow we'll meet right here, where love speaks softly and stays.